Hello and welcome everybody to session 48 of my Pillars of Eternity Lorethrough. It is currently June 29th, 2023. We have just left this hut right here, the hut of the clan, the Three Tusk Stelgar, where we tried to give the leader poison because he wanted us to kill a child. And he wasn't fooled, so we had to murder the entire clan that was in there. Hopefully there are some Three Tusk Stelgar in other places, but yeah, we had to just kill a lot of people, unfortunately. And this session, so the decision I made is that I want to go through all the favors for the gods. I'm going to do that all in this session, however long it takes. And then I will put bookmarks on each of the different gods' favors if you don't want to watch any of them for whatever reason. Maybe you want to play for yourself. Maybe you already know about a particular god and you just wanted to see the ones that you haven't played through. I don't know. But we are going to start, I think, with Galawain for a couple reasons. One, it's the closest, and two, it may or may not actually be Galawain's favor. We didn't get a quest when we examined Galawain's stone in the Ter Evron, so I don't know for sure if it's actually the favor for Galawain that we're going to do. But we're going to head to Galawain's Maw, choose whether we want to support the bear or the lion, which I think we're going to go with the bear. I think bears are cooler than lions. But yeah, we'll start there. So just as a reminder here, as we're going to Galawain's Maw, they do some kind of, I don't know, succession of the most powerful hunter that lives here, and currently it's Sul, which is a lion, and there are some people that think it should be a bear. I forget the bear's name, but the lion is basically just kind of staying hidden in this area over here, in the shrine, I guess. And he's not actually coming out to the lioness, I'm sorry, is not actually coming out to fight the bear. So we are going to aid the bear. This is the bear here, Oiernos. Awareness. Oh. Let's go. Find Sul. I think there's a couple traps that we weren't able to disarm. And I want to go do that now because I have since upped Durance's mechanics. Still can't. Yeah, still can't. Huh. I thought I did it. Okay, it didn't hurt me that much. No, don't really want to make a decision here, but I guess I have to. Sul isn't the rightful champion. Her hand strays to the hatchet at her side. You would side with the bear too. Choose your next words with care. A true hunter can't always lie in wait for prey, as Sul has done. That's because I'm a hunter. I hadn't thought of it that way. She looks at the lioness sadly. Such a magnificent animal. I thought that protecting her served Galawain's will, but you're right. All are eventually both hunter and hunted in his sight. We'll go. If Sul is truly worthiest, she doesn't need our help. Well, that was easy. Sul looks at Arensi and her barbarians leave. Her cubs yelp from within their lair in the cavern's wall. The giant lioness bares her fangs, long as curved scimitars. She takes a step in your direction and growls. Oh man, they're fighting us now. Kill some lion cubs.
That's it.
Yes, this was. Okay. So I have to return to Galawain at Ter and Elm's Reach. I've resolved the stalemate between the beasts. I may now receive my blessing from the Seeker God himself. Pallegina completed her quest. After several more abductions took place in Zochin Lake, Pallegina discovered that a previously unknown beast was behind the attacks. A strange ruby-red beetle would grab the locals and feed on their worst memories. Though victims would initially fight back, they would quickly enter a blissful state and drop the resistance. Unfortunately, the beetle would eventually devour all of their memories, leaving their minds vacant and broken off from the world. Pallegina was able to track the beetle to its nest and kill it. The locals were relieved to hear the beetle had been killed, but dismayed to learn the hatched eggs were discovered in the nest. As a parting gift, a philosopher from Zochin Monastery created a wand for Pallegina from one of the beautiful red reeds that grows along the lake. And this is the wand right here. This wand was a gift from a Zochin Monastery philosopher. He created it from one of the beautiful red reeds that grew along the edge of the lake near his monastery. It was given as a gift for your help in tracking down a dangerous memory-eating beetle that was terrorizing locals. Okay.
Of course.
Tufts of tawny fur and crushed grasses carpet a small hollow in the back of the cavern. Alright, so let's go over here. Let them know what happened. Indon sighs, spinning his axe by the shaft. Too much waiting. Something's gotta happen. Soon. I've dealt with Sul.
Someone had to. Would have been good to let the two beasts brawl. But at least we can finally move on. It doesn't do for Galawain's mightiest hunters to skulk and hide in the back of a cave.
End dialogue.
Still looking around? Watch your step. Tempers run hot around here, and not just among the animals.
I've dealt with the situation between Sul and Wernos. And now, Wernos is champion of the Maw, says Desthun. I know more than a few Fangs will be happy with that. Perhaps it's a sign from Galawain himself that we need to focus on building our strength and forging new paths. Thank you for your help, Kareth. May Galawain guide your path. Take this, with our thanks. He seems to suddenly remember something. You might visit Ter Evron to pray to the Lord of the Hunt. He sometimes grants special favors for those who prove themselves. I got the cat's claw. Let's see what that is. It's a unique sword. It's exceptional. I might want to give this to Bjarter. A knight once roamed the living lands in pursuit of adventure. Though few knew his name, all recognized him by his blade, a graceful weapon fixed to a lion's head pommel, and a crossguard shaped like rending claws, and by the black cat that followed at his heels. While some believe the cat to be the knight's companion and familiar, others claim she was a spirit-shifted druid who had forged the knight's sword in a piece of her essence. The blade, long and slender, was set to slash at the soul of the knight's opponents. Okay, I can like that. Let's compare it to what I have now. Oh, that's Adair's weapon. More damage. The corrode damage here, I think, is something that I upgraded it with, so I can give that back. Same with this. That's only fine. Let's equip the cat's claw. Okay. Just making sure everyone's using the right things. Okay. All right, so let's go back to Ter Ebron. And we can talk to Galawain. I'm pretty sure we can complete multiple favors for the gods, and we can get, and then we can like choose which favor we want to use when we get to a certain point in the game. But I'm gonna save it ahead of time just to be safe. I don't want to lock myself out from completing the other tasks. Quick manual save. Alright. Which one's Galawain? This one. You stand once again before the shrine to Galawain, in the Hound's Head constellation which marks the pedestal. From time to time you hear a low rumbling sound, like a growl. Pray to Galawain. Come to seek Galawain's favor. Howl back. Something leaps from the bushes nearby. You find yourself pinned on your back and staring into the amber eyes of a massive hound. The beast looks at you. Gleaming fangs protrude from the sides of its mouth. Its nose twitches as it inhales your scents, starting at your shoulder and proceeding down the length of your arm. You follow its nose to your hand, which is covered in blood. A tongue as red and meaty as steak lolls out of its mouth and swipes your bloody hand. Its lips curl into what looks like a smile. The beast looks back at you, and as it fixes you from its glowing eyes, its muzzle retreats into a long bearded face, and its pointed ears lengthen, dropping to the sides of its head. What was a massive hound becomes a giant of a man, his broad, muscled shoulders draped with furs. He holds a flint knife to your neck and grins, revealing a row of long, pointed teeth.
Soul is dead, and so is her legacy. You have cut down a fierce and cunning line.
If Sul could not defend her position from me, she didn't deserve it.
Worthiness is proven in conflict. Might grappling with might. Flesh tears, bones break, and the ones that mend are stronger still. Blood mixes, and the worthier substance rises to the top. And you have proven worthy.
This is Galawain speaking to us. He lets out a howl that rings through the air. He lowers his head, puffs of steam rising from his panting mouth. Twigs crunch and branches snap. The ground shivers under the weight of pacing, prowling footsteps. A dozen beasts, bears, wolves, and long-faned cats stalk out of the undergrowth, their matching amber eyes fast on you. "Is this how you would threaten us, Galawain, with cats and dogs?" says Durance. As the beasts encircle you, their master rises to his feet. Even the largest of the bears can only reach this browned and muscle-knotted shoulders. You stand, mindful of the ring of predators surrounding you.
You sought and won the favor of Galawain. What new prey do you now pursue?
I hunt Theos.
To track a quarry, you must understand its movements. And Theos follows the path of a more powerful master.
I'm guessing Woodica. Magrin. Wow. A warm breeze carries the smell of smoke and gunpowder. Sparks ignite and float in the draft. catching in the leaves over Galawain's head. A sudden blast of heat scalds your face, and even as you turn away, a flash of light sears your vision through your eyelids. When you look back, you see a woman in full plate standing next to Galawain. Her mirror-polished armor flickers with image of reflected flames. You can't see her face, but her voice is strong and clear, like the ringing of steel.
Let him know his foe.
The whore breaks her silence at last. Have you missed me, Magrin? You may have found other lovers, but surely none that was my equal. Magrin says nothing in response. Instead, she never even glances in Durance's direction. An involuntary tick causes the baggy skin beneath Durance's eyes to quiver. He says no more, his ruddy skin blanched white.
Theos has trapped thousands of souls in sun and shadow like rabbits in a snare. Now, he goes there to retrieve the kill for his master Woodica.
One of the bears paws at the ground in irritation, its hackles rising.
She will feast on them, suck their marrow, grow strong on their essence.
As the Stelgar watches you, it licks its lips, its tongue scraping long fangs. Why would Theos help Woodica?
Because he is her hound. He has always done her bidding.
His eyes dart to another figure standing just behind Magrin.
Woodica stands for an old order. So does Theos.
Her helm pivots sharply towards him. Abaddon. A golem made of blackened, pitted iron steps out of Magrin's shadow. Its movements are slow, yet precise. Each footfall accompanied by the groaning and grinding of metal. The steady orange glow of furnace coals emanates from its eye sockets.
They both fear change, and the Deerwood has changed much recently. People find answers not in the gods, but in animancy, the product of their own labors.
A gear clicks within its jaw, and Abaddon speaks. So it's like a machine.
And why not? When they have learned that even a god can be killed.
Talking about how Aethys has been killed. Durance's eyes are wide, his beard is matted with sweat. Was that not as you commanded, my lady? We sought only to stroke your pride by bringing your vision into reality. Magrin stands still, unwavering. It is as though she has not heard him at all. Animancy doesn't seem to trouble you. The three gods seem to look at one another. One of the wolves sits and scratches its neck with quick strokes of a tined leg.
The clash of ideas, the search for answers and meaning. These are other hunts.
They would supplant you. How can you accept this so easily? And maybe talking about how animancers plan to overtake the gods.
This is the destiny of Kith, to struggle and transform, even through animancy.
And to improve. Steady labor and earnest industry elevate Kith above Wilder and Beast. It is also useful that they should learn to improve their souls, whether through struggle, transformation, or labor. On this, at least, we have no disagreement.
So the gods, at least these gods, Abaddon, Magrin, and Galawain, don't have issues with animancy, I guess. You haven't done anything to stop Theos.
There is a pact. One Woodica herself has just barely kept. We gods must allow mortals to direct their own affairs.
This limit keeps peace between us.
So Woodica directs Theos, and he does her will.
Durance grunts. Are these gods, and these gods do the same with us?
It is not our fight.
What should I do about it?
Your feet are swift, and your instincts true, Hunter. Track Theos. Follow the trail he has left for you, and corner him in sun and shadow.
You must stop him before he empowers Woodica.
Empowers her, so she's lost powers, I guess, Woodica.
And if you do, you will have a different decision to make.
If you do what? If you stop him? And if you believe you are free to make that decision how you wish it, you have not been listening to our conversations along the road. Durance suggesting that whatever choice we make is basically our destiny. We don't actually have a choice.
Souls were ripped from the world, ripe and full and pulsing with essence. Scatter them like bones to a pack of dogs. Their essence will strengthen the souls of the Deerwood. Let the remains of the dead feed the survivors.
Why would I feed the lost soul's essence to the rest of the Deerwood? I think I know that. I'm gonna ask it anyway.
To breed strength, power is born from the mixing of essence and blood.
So, soul essence and body is what breeds power.
What Theos did cannot be undone. Thousands of lives have changed, and thousands more have ended because of his actions. But transformation gives purpose to trial.
And improvement is the goal of all Kith. Long lives, prosperous futures, stronger minds and bodies. Strengthening those who remain will help repair the damage that Theos has done to the Deerwood.
Now, I've got to find Theos.
And when you descend the pit to Sun in Shadow, you can count on our assistance to see you safely through. As I hope we can count on yours when you reach the bottom. There are many souls upon the Burial Isle that are sworn to serve us. They belong to you now, and they shall guide your descent.
Durance's face is grave. Beware the promises of a god, Watcher. They are binding, but only in one direction. Galawain, the beasts grow restless, pawing the ground and eyeing you with renewed interest. The bear sniffs at the ground next to your leg. One Stelgar skulks into the circle, its amber eyes glowing. Galawain hurls his knife between your feet, sinking it to its handle. He raises his empty hand.
Hunt him, mortal. And when you stop him, let the souls he has captured feed the Deerwood.
Strengthen the souls of those who remain. Prepare them to face the challenges that will follow. Pledge that you will do this, and we will grant you a power fit for the finest warrior who ever lived.
Betray us, and my beasts shall track you down. Our allegiance is not to be accepted and cast aside.
I would hear what the other gods have to say first.
Consider and calculate, but decide.
Continue. Galawain's hands fall. In the growling pack lunges into a circle. The vision vanishes in an instant, returning you to Terravron, where burning candles replace the glowing eyes of Galawain's beasts. Okay, so that was Galawain. Let's next do Berath's favor, because there's a couple people we have to kill for that. Let's actually find out where we should be going first. A servant of death. The dwarf in the vision had an eerily ageless face, and he seemed to renew himself with the blood of others. He said something about Ethic Null. When I learn who or what this is, he will no doubt be nearby. So I should go to see Ethic Null, and Arona, I need to go to Elmshore to find Arona. Well, let's see what Durance has to say.
What is it, Watcher?
Durance doesn't seem to recognize you for a second, then blinks and frowns. Does what we learned about Woodica trouble you?
It stinks of her. It is justice, but if her greater purpose was to think Margaret would fall prey to such deceit. And Aethys. Widewind had always claimed to be invading Deerwood to free it. What if it were true? What if he had come to stop Woodica's plot before it began?
Suggesting that maybe Aethys knew what Woodica was planning, so Widewind's legacy was not, obviously, a result of killing a god, but Aethys was actually trying to stop Widewind's legacy from happening in the first place.
Surely Aethys earned his death at Godhammer Citadel, but not for those reasons. Not to keep him silent. If such a thing has brought about this chaos...
Durance tilts his head as if listening to an inner voice. Then he frowns, the frown deepening as he speaks.
Must we always be tools of gods? If Woodica and Margrin, if If they are the cause of this, the Hollowborn, if the purges were never necessary, if Aethys was fighting back...
Then your Godhammer didn't save Deerwood. It doomed it.
So many lies. And Woodica, perhaps she is the next god to fall beneath the Godhammer.
Would it have been better if you had been spared this knowledge?
No, I am glad to have walked this far with you, seen this truth. Perhaps it was what I was meant to see, with a Watcher's eyes. All these dances of words and intrigues, machines of men, twisted, ripping the souls of children, and by the gods, the goddess of justice. If I could end her like Aethys, Margren burned her once. One can do so again. Woodica, she must answer to her own justice.
Justice or revenge?
Anyone with a shred of spirit seeks both justice and punishment. It burns in the heart of anyone who lives. All seek it. If the world does not balance, we all drown in the oceans. And the gods would not care. Margren, she must be redeemed. And punishing Woodica, that will serve.
Margren was allied with Woodica. She tried to kill all the makers of the Godhammer.
Is this some final joke at my expense? To test my faith further? And why would you think that, Watcher?
The others who made the Godhammer, they all died, didn't they? That's why I saw their symbols fade from your staff. Yeah, those are all the visions that we have of Durance, which may not actually be visions. Maybe we see him while we're sleeping.
If all you have are questions, then I have enough of those. She is a bitch of a goddess, to be sure. But even a whore only goes so far in crossing those she serves.
You said you left Ashfall without telling anyone of your departure?
You answer a question with a question. Then why did I feel her disappointment at Halgot? Why were we shamed?
Because I think she tried to kill you there.
Kill me? She is a goddess. I still drink from her burning breasts, Watcher. If she wished me dead, she could trace me to my source and kill me.
I hate how he talks. In the dream of Godhammer, your spirit looked blurred, indistinct in the light, as if it had been sheared from you. Durance stares at you, his expression frozen, but he's silent, listening. When we petitioned her, she didn't recognize her. You know it. Durance frowns from you for a moment, turns from you for a moment, his face twists in thought, conflicting emotions running across his features. Finally, he turns to you, his face steady.
There's no proof, Watcher. I was a fool to think you could help me see any farther than I could.
If you don't trust me, then trust your staff. Admit that the other Godhammer builders are dead. Durance turns to the staff, and for a moment, you see his eyes burning, taking in the edges of the wood, the symbols inlaid there, the 11 faded circles.
They died in the blast, yes. The other 11. I was the only one to walk away. I thought we had wronged our goddess. That this was my trial, and if I could prove myself worthy of her! I should have known better. There is only one God of redemption, and I saw him ended.
As he studies the staff, you feel a wave of heat, a terrible energy rolling forth from it in waves, so much so it feels as if the Godhammer itself is alive in his hands, and past it, you hear a cry like a child being born, and your eyes feel the flash of white. Then 100 imagined shades of purple and white streaming and circling into the howling of a storm, and beneath it, the grinding of ancient machines of stone, rock, and metal, grinding and turning until all around you feels as if it's burning, sinking into the shadows of the earth, beneath the ground, the only place where a spirit might find refuge. When your vision clears, you see Durance, his hands clutching his staff, and his eyes are bright, burning red. Atop the staff, the flame burns cleanly, brightly. As his gaze burns, he rips his gaze away and howls, a bellowing, horrid howl like a wounded animal, and sweat pours down his brow. We can see that justice is served, to her and Woodica both.
To think I served her, I followed her. Now I shall serve no one. Woodica's lies must be answered. And now it seems I must take fire in war from a goddess's false claim as well. I still take from her strength as I did, for as long as it lasts. For I shall not cast her aside yet, until I have drained her dry and had my fill, just as she intended for me. For I have learned one of the lessons of the faithful. The faithful may wound a goddess greater than any enemy. A purification is coming, and this fire shall consume them both.
So seems disillusioned by his faith, but still willing to carry on. So his making of the God Hammer had helped him realize that a god can be killed. So he is starting to realize that the gods are susceptible to being hurt, to being killed. Let's continue on. And I have completed the trials of Durance. I was able to get Durance to see that Magrin had conspired with Woodica in creating the Godhammer, and that her refusing to speak with him wasn't because he had wronged her, but rather because she had intended him to die with the other Godhammer engineers, in order to keep secret her direct involvement in Aethys' destruction. Though it appears this alliance between the goddesses was short-lived, it sheds new light on the Saints' War and the epidemic of hollow-born infants that followed. Durance, for his part, has renounced his goddess and sworn revenge. As a man who's killed one god already, it would seem that he might be one of the only people alive who could make good on such a threat. Okay. Wasn't expecting to do that here, but there we are. Alright, go into the Blood Sands now, see if we can find out who this dwarf is. No, I'm not.
Stop right there.
Soldier.
Wrong city, Inquisitor.
The Phantom Soldier raises his short sword to your chest.
Did you think you wouldn't be recognized here in your old home? I've seen your trials with my own eyes.
I've seen you light pyres with good people tied to them. People I'd known many a year. Must be talking about a former soul of mine, or former body, I mean. He seizes you by the throat, and your airway tightens. Whether real or imagined, you cannot tell. They deserve your confession. He raises the point of his sword, holding a hair's breadth from your eye.
Suros, what are you doing?
This is Iovara, who we've heard Theos speak before. This is the one that he calls the witch that we, at some point, wanted to kill, like a former body of ours. Startled, the soldier releases you immediately and turns to face the speaker, a woman in a plain wool tunic, fully a head shorter than he, but somehow seeming to tower over him. You have seen this woman's face before, but from afar, bloodied and burned as she lay stretched across an iron wheel. At the moment, it is marked only with concern.
An assassin sent by the Inquisition, my lady, daring to approach our camp.
That does seem to be who we were. We were an assassin. Theos did want us to kill her. If he is so poor an assassin as to approach an armed guard in daylight, says Iovara, I should have nothing to fear. I would hear what this man has to say. She stares him down until he can no longer face her. He turns away, sour-faced, watching you through sidelong glances, his knuckles white around the pommel of his sword.
My own brother. Returned home. I never dreamed this day would come.
Grand Inquisitor Theos Arcanon dispatched me here to spy on you. Iovara doesn't blink. All things are desperate as that over there? Are things as desperate as that over there? I'd never have known. I hope your next assignment is more stimulating. Listening to my lectures is dull work for a spy. But there are a few things stronger than bonds of the family. I should never have doubted we'd be reunited one day. Whatever your reasons, I've missed you all these years. Having you here now, at a time when I'm surrounded by strangers, is a wonderful gift.
I would like for you to stay here, in our camp, as my guest.
My Lady Iovara, I beg of you. This is an Inquisitor. This is a desperate attempt on your life. The only way it can succeed is if you allow it to.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. If I can't have faith in one man's ability to reason, once he knows the truth, what hope do we have?
So even though I was honest about what I was here to do, she still has faith that once I know the truth, I can still I can still agree with what she has to say.
My lady, he admits being a spy.
That should make him less of a threat, wouldn't you agree? I have nothing to hide. All I see here is an opportunity to persuade someone who could help us. We have many former missionaries here. They are our most loyal, our most helpful. Many have died for us. These are not people we should be turning away. And if the Inquisition wants my life, they can have it. But they know as well as I do that my cause will not die with me. Come. We have much to talk about.
So a vision of an old... I went back to the person who was following Theos, the person who said that he was this Iovara person's brother. He's been spent to spy on her. He's honest about it. And she wants to eventually reason with him. She wants to get him to see the truth. But we don't know what that truth is yet. Saw a soul blink over here. Okay, now we will be going to Ethic Knoll, or the Blood Sands. So is this the dwarf we have to kill? Garrus watches you approach without betraying any emotion. Be welcome, Estremor. Estremor, your kin doesn't come here to share with the tribes. What do you want? Goodbye. So maybe it's the guy who did the sacrifice before. Oh, let me see if I can open this now. Just for the experience. Nope. All right. Berath believes it's time you paid your dues. Reston grunts. Then he can descend from his mighty pantheon and tell me himself. Actually, that's why I'm here.
Since when do the gods send mortals to collect? You're much too talkative to be the usher. This is the trouble with deities. They meddle in a world that they don't even inhabit. I hope they've promised you something better for your next life.
Okay. Sure, it's gonna make it really easy to get out of here now.
You're not getting through me.
Okay, a unique saber named Purgatory. In a monastery overlooking Cold Flow Lake from the foothills of the White March, there once resided a clandestine order of monks known as the Thousand Dreams. Through a powerful form of pain-induced meditation, these monks were able to walk through their past lives as though they were dreams. Each traversed these memories in ultimate hopes of achieving complete understanding of his or her soul's identity. They believed that after experiencing 1,000 lifetimes, total enlightenment could be attained. Greatest of their sect was Rymrgand, who had an ancient soul and was said to have walked more lifetimes than any other. But when she came to the end of all her lifetimes and found there was no more experience, it became clear that she would never come to know herself completely, for there was simply not enough to learn from. Unable to accept this fate after her endless trials, Rymrgand sought a way to take the experiences of others for her own, that she might reach 1,000 lifetimes yet. She channeled her unquenchable hunger into her favorite sword, and it became an instrument of her will. With it, she claimed many lives in the surrounding area. Each drop of blood on her blade was a new experience. Each killing blow a new lifetime for her to claim. When the rest of the Thousand Dreams came to learn of her actions, they banded together and confronted Rymrgand upon her return to the temple. In the end, amid a courtyard of slain monks, she did indeed come to understand her soul. And it is said that among her experiences contained in the blade are those of Rymrgand herself. The blade itself is a simple saber with a worn leather grip and an inset ebony hilt. The sword becomes hot to the touch when its wielder's foes are vanquished. So an ancient story of a monk order. I think maybe we run into one of these monks of the Thousand Dreams in the White March expansion, although I can't be sure about that. I'll give it to Adair. He can use sabers. I don't know if we're actually going to equip him with it, though. Oh, I forgot I got this shield for him, too. So first, before I forget again, let's give this other shield to Adair. Yeah. Okay, and now let's see, because we got a journal update after we killed Reston. Just says I have killed Archdruid Reston, the dwarf from Berath's vision. So we're probably going to get attacked on our way out of here a whole bunch.
All right, then.
This isn't working. Not even slowing it. Brave down.
Not good for me. Lava.
Uh-oh.
this!
We are really laying waste to Twin Elms here, huh?
All right then.
Now this I haven't seen before.
I think one of those people was the merchant.
Brave thou Elon.
Berath!
All right then.
Talon's amulet. This amulet consists of an engraved circular disc carved from bone and hanging from a simple leather cord. +9 will. Okay. Okay. Just killed a bunch of the 3-tusk Stelgar. And now killed a bunch of the Ethic Knoll. So I think here... we'll take a rest in an inn. And then we'll go after... oh wait, let me see if I can... is there like a... I feel like there was a soul that keeps appearing over there, but I don't know, I guess I'm wrong. It's not working. See what's happening with my reputation in Twin Elms. Still an ally.
Well met, friend.
Alright, let's head on over to Elmshore. When we came here the first time too, there was a few fights here that were very difficult for us, but we've leveled up a few times since then. So let's see if maybe we can do a little bit better here. Also, see if I can get some exceptional things. Oh, that's already exceptional. Theirs is already exceptional. Oh wow. This pistol that he's using, definitely going to upgrade that for Kana. That's a soulbound one. I don't think I can, yeah. Okay, so I have, I think everybody now has exceptional weapons and exceptional armor. Nice, okay. Okay, let's go look for, I believe her name was Alora? Arona. Oh man, it's dominated. I think I have one. Let's get all the ranged onto him.
Mow it. That's it.
There we go. Yeah, that fight gave me a lot of problems before, and I'm not going to say that was easy, but it was much more doable this time around.
Of course.
Boots of stability. Yeah, I don't think we can go any further south. I think we've opened everything. We have another Odragon. First off, pull him into the fray. Actually, let's get everybody on him. We'll pull him into the fray. And we'll have Durance cast.
Hey. Then you're not getting through.
Yeah, floating soul here. The outer arch looms in front of you, just as you saw it through Persoc's eyes. Sagani turns, watching the trees for movement. As the arch shadow falls over you, the wooded shore fades into a different scene. So this is Sagani's quest. I guess I didn't really mean to trigger this while we were in the middle of Berath's quest, but yeah. Don't have a choice now. You're standing in another forest. Blackened, bare trunks claw their way out of the soil and keep a solemn vigil over the young trees and tender shrubs. You move slowly through the woods, and the ruins scatter throughout them. Stone pillars and broken arches show the bones of some destroyed building. Between and amidst it are all elves and orlans, their faces painted and their bows drawn. Burnt trees, crumbling ruins. Where is this? No one seems to recognize it. I've seen the next location.
I'll follow you.
She counts the arrows in her quiver before adjusting the weight on her shoulders.
Do you ever get a strange feeling near the end of a hunt? I get an itch on the end of my nose. I feel like we're close.
You sound surprised.
I am. After all this time. A part of me had already accepted that I'd never find him. That I'd be stuck wandering like this forever. I'll admit, I didn't believe you at first. Still didn't until now.
What changed?
I haven't spent this much time around anyone since the long hunts in Nasitak. But I've gotten to know you, seen how you deal with Kith. Whatever else you turn out to be when we find Theos, you're honest. I know you wouldn't lead me astray in this.
What I mean is, thanks. No one's done this much for me in a very long time. It feels almost like I'm part of a village again. What will you do after this is over?
Good question.
She runs her hand over the smooth, chiseled surface of the arch. It's been hard to see a purpose behind the last 5 years, but lately I've started to realize just how much Persoc shaped our village, how his efforts and sacrifices added up, made us stronger. Bringing his blessing back to Masuk will strengthen us and draw us even closer together, and I'm proud to know that I'll be the one returning with it. She thumps the Adra wall with the heel of her hand, but I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we've got to find Persoc, as well as your quarry, Briarter. Should give me time to figure out what I'll say to him. What do you think you'll tell Persoc?
I guess that depends on who he is now. I'd like to think that traveling for 5 years entitles me to give him a solid earful about all of it. But what really matters to someone in Persoc's position? The village he left behind? The family he likely won't remember?
I wish my fractured memories told me more about the people closest to me.
Must be lonely not knowing a thing like that. I guess I've taken that much for granted.
Anyway, here's to finding our men soon. Onward. Okay, so I got the update to locate the forest from the latest vision. He was standing in a forest surrounded by blackened trees and crumbling ruins. He was with a group of Glenfathan hunters. Okay, well, let's not focus on that now, because now we have to find this Irona person so we can kill her. It's a lone Adra beetle? No.
To me.
Of course not. Maybe I thought maybe that was a lone Adra beetle that was supposed to join the previous fight.
Yes?
Where's that one going? It's weird. Does he get killed by something else? some ogres up here that kicked my butt last time.
Praise Elon.
You're not getting through me.
Okay, let's do this one. Get some ogres to fight against these ogres. That's right.
I'm here.
Get on!
Leave it to me.
Get on!
Was still quite the fight. Some ogre blood here. Potent blood of an ogre, it seems darker and thicker than the blood of smaller creatures, though similar in all other respects. And some gems.
All right, then.
Health is really low for a few people, so let's take a rest. Okay, so before we go into the cave, let's explore the rest of Elmshore.
Something over there.
How many Adrogons do we have? Just one.
You're not getting through me.
Get on! Get on!
Leave it to me. You're not getting through me. Leave it to me.
That other Stelgar over there made his mate fight alone. Uh-oh, a dying monk. But maybe that was Arona. The man on the ground gasps for air, clutching his chest as he struggles. On closer examination, you see his red cloak obscures the full extent of his injuries. His face whitens as blood pools around him. Please, traveler. He reaches out, arduously extending his hands to you. What happened? Forgetful, so careless, he mutters, blood seeping from his lips. Cuts in my knuckles from morning's practice. He holds blood-soaked hand in front of him. The Stelgars, they smelled the blood on me. Thought they found their next meal. The man reaches down to clutch his leg, his finger running along a jagged length of bone protruding from his knee. They were almost correct. The man lets out a long sigh and smiles at you with a slow, knowing nod. You are known to us, Watcher. We know you have traveled others. You have treated others honestly, fairly. His face becomes pale and lapses into a wide smile. And I have need of someone trustworthy to finish my mission. Be still. Allow me to tend to your wounds, or at least ease the pain. As you move close to help, the monk places his hands on yours and gently rebuffs your efforts with his remaining strength. Your intentions are kind, but I must embrace my suffering and ready my soul for its next journey. This must be delivered to my order. The monk weakly grasps for his satchel, drawing from its messenger's scroll case. Take it, he rasps, waving the missive at you. It needs to be carried to the celestial sapling. Give this to my brothers. They will reward you. Do not open it, he cries out, his voice cracking. The contents are for my brothers only. If the seal is broken, they will... Blood erupts from the man's mouth, streams of red oozing down his neck. His head slumps backwards, and the body goes still. Examine the scroll case. The scroll's case is crafted... Sorry if you could hear that. The scroll's case is crafted of darkly stained oak in the likeness of a thin tower. Along its length, 5 wax seals adorn the case, each with its own symbol: a small flame, an open palm, a crescent moon, a shining sun, and a balanced scale. The seals would more than likely break if you were to try to open the case. Yeah, so I'm just going to stow it. You place the scroll case in your pack and venture onward. You got a new task, the sealed missive. So we did see that room full of monks in the inn at Celestial Sapling, so I do know where to go. Can I get over here? Yes, I can. Or maybe not. Ovates here, which is what was happening at the Golden Grove, so I'm going to guess this is Arona. High Ovate Arona. An elf stands on a dais in the middle of the clearing. The ground is blanketed with leaves and various shades of russet and gold. Her eyes are closed and her arms are folded in front of you. A curtain of autumnal yellow hair hangs in front of her face. As you draw near, she lifts her chin and looks at you with shifting hazel eyes.
Greetings, Estramor. You are among the Ovates of the Golden Grove.
And you are?
High Ovate, an ancient elm among poles and saplings. We have taken root in the same soil, and the others grow in my shade. Their roots nourish my soil. My branches give them shelter. Together, we grow.
Your essence churns like an eddy in the stream, Estramor. Speak the questions of your soul. I'd like to know more about the Ovates of the Golden Grove.
Like the leaves of a tree, we are many sharing one source, one purpose. Living or dying, We nourish one another. The truths of the soul and of the body are written on every blade of grass and sung by every creature under the sun. We learn these truths and sing them back.
Ours is not the song of the gods, but of Weretha. This is why many of our number study the discourse of herbs and inhabit the skins of beasts. You're druids. Are you familiar with the Ethic Null? I don't want to ask that. I know that. Berath sent me to end your life. It has continued for too long.
At least he chose someone who wouldn't wrap her intentions in trickery and lies. But what is a god that his voice should carry so far? And what are you that you should so eagerly obey? The gods only have dominion over what we seed, and you would cede matters of life and death to them.
Durance laughs thickly with derision. The gods set the rules and let us do as we will. But that is merely a test, and only a fool thinks he has been ceded anything. You do what your god wants, or you face the fire. This woman is about to become an example. Are you any different? You've extended your life beyond its natural span. Through work and wisdom. The greater the trees, the more fruit it may yield. She nods at the ovates gathered in the clearing. They are vines climbing an ancient elm into the sunlight. My growth sustains them. Should our harmony fall prey to a god's jealousy? As they say, the well of knowledge grows deeper by the season. Kana's voice is low and thoughtful, and we owe our elders respect. But if we're keeping this metaphor, I think the gods make for older trees still. Wow, I don't even have Resolve 15. I need Berath's aid, and this is what he's asked of me. She shakes her head. It is a shame we could not come to an accord.
Pray.
Okay. Archdruid Rested and Hyovate Arona are both dead. I can pray to Berath at Ter Everin to receive my reward. Got an emerald from that. Got a ring of protection. Doesn't look like she had anything. Look at my dog here. It's running around on its side. Okay. Let's just finish mapping this out and then return and finish up Berath's quest. Hear what it has to say. I guess Itimak was dead, and I didn't have him selected. Alright, Berath's turn. Once more you stand before the shrine in the skull constellation which marks its dedication to Berath. Right, let's pray to Berath. As you pray to Berath, you find yourself against the road. You again find yourself on the road. Squinting into the distance, you see a short, pale figure waiting for you. At first, you think it's another vision of Archdruid Reston, but then you notice the figure's skeletal frame and rictus grin. He stands in front of the other skull gate, but the way leads down, not onward. He beckons for you to approach. This would be the usher. Thank you, Alath, and that must be the usher. Alath's voice is low. Behind you is a woman, her skin milk pale against her black hair. She wears a suit of armor so dark it seems to suck the light from the stars. The road winds up a mountain behind her.
A toll, traveler.
It's Berath speaking. Ah, and here's the pallid knight. That toll will grow steeper with time. Connie gives a nervous chuckle. Let's follow the... Follow the usher or pay the pallid knight? Let's pay the pallid knight. You drop a few coppers into her hand and she closes her fist around the coin. You instantly feel a small weight added to your purse. The lord of this road demands a toll of all, but he lends generously that all might travel his road again. Behind her the usher grins his lipless smile and waits. The road bores into the mountain and you find yourself in a gigantic cavern. The ceiling curves up and away, and it's dotted with moisture. At this distance, the shining beads look like stars, clustered and scattered in constellations. The usher and the pallid knight lead you to a trail carved into the edge of a cavern. Two identical cave mouths wait ahead, and you follow the usher into one of them. Standing at the edge and gazing down, you see an endless, ever-changing plain bisected by a road. Only then do you realize that you're no longer on the road, and you follow the road to the point where it disappears below you. You realize that you're standing in one of the eye sockets of a massive skull. The usher points to the road. Archdruid Reston appears below you. He's just as you remembered him, stern and smooth-skinned. Yet with each step along the road he grows, swelling with blood and essence. His heavy steps become slower and slower until he stops altogether. His distended body fills the path completely.
You met a dwarf traveling this road. What did you do?
He lived in the blood of others. I saw justice done.
There is no justice in the tides that move the seas, nor in the seasons that nurture and slay all growing things. There is no morality in the forces that move the world. They are inevitable, products of their own self-perpetuating motion.
As Reston's swollen body ruptures, the effect is like a dam bursting. Ghostly figures, as hazy and indistinct as wisps of smoke, continue along the cleared path. Some tumble and rush along while others amble and drift, but all continue forward. The usher directs your attention to another figure moving down the path. This time you see Hyovate Arona. As she follows the road, her movements become slow and erratic. Her legs creak with each step, and her feet grow long, thick roots that burrow into the ground. She finally stops, rooted in place.
You found a tree that had lived for centuries. Its roots were deep, and its boughs sheltered many. Why did you cut it down?
I'm going to say it was a parasite. While its branches sheltered others, its roots sucked them dry.
All draw their life's energy from the deaths of others. This is why all must remain part of the cycle of death and rebirth. No creature may be a closed loop unto itself.
Arona's body petrifies below, and the shimmering leaves of her hair blow down the path. You seek another, says Berath, who has lived his lives in the brink of the cycle. He sits on the inside of the wheel, observing its revolutions. With each new life he is plucked from the stream and returned to it intact. Why do you hunt Theos? Theos has entrapped thousands of souls for Woodica. I've got to stop him from giving her absolute power.
If you know this much, then another god has already spoken with you, and given you half of the answer.
suggesting that our conversation with Galawain, Abaddon, and Mogren wasn't quite truthful. Theos serves Wodaka, says Berath. She desires an escape from her own cycle, power without decline. Theos has removed thousands of souls from the cycle so that their essence might empower her. The black depths of her eyes threaten to swallow you. You must stop him, and you must return them to the cycle. Why does Wodaka even need Theos' help? And why do you need mine for that matter? The gods guide souls through the cycle of death and rebirth, but Eora is the domain of mortals. We stand aside, weights and counterweights. Were one to alter the tides of Kith, all would follow. We would tip this world from its axis. That is why Wodaka directs a mortal to do her bidding, and why any who would stop Theos must be mortal as well. So the suggestion here from Berath is that if the gods were to start meddling in the affairs of mortals, if one god was to start meddling in the affairs of mortals, then that would mean all the gods would start doing that. But hasn't Wodaka already done that by allowing Theos' soul to remain intact for so long? I don't know why that is let to be okay. Is Wodaka? I know that Wodaka seems to be more powerful than the other gods, but it still seems like that would, if Berath is right here, that would give permission to the other gods to also meddle in the affairs of mortals. What end would it serve to send the souls back into the cycle? Attending to these souls is a question of stability, Watcher, of maintaining the natural order of the world and the ebb and flow of essence. Couldn't they be returned to Hollowborn? As battered, burdened things, do you mix soured wine and fresh? The kindness you seek lies in giving them a new beginning, not in shackling them to this life. If Theos has meddled with these souls, perhaps it would be better to destroy them? The cycle is merciless, but it is not wasteful. Time, in the endless procession of rebirths, eventually grinds souls into dust. But until then, they must pass from the world and return to it. Their continuing movement advances the cycle itself. That's interesting. So souls, as they are reborn in different bodies over and over and over again, the souls themselves wither and die. So then I wonder how new souls are created if that's the case. Cycles are changeless and monotonous. Surely there's a better alternative. The illusion of revolution? It is merely a part of another cycle, and a painful one. True change has structure, geometry. It is the product of cycles within cycles, 1,000 gears spinning and moving the universe by degrees. What's wrong with Wodaka seizing this power? The cycle of Kith is a thing of balance. Likewise is the cycle of gods. We rise and fall in the favor of mortals, only to fall and rise again. But Wodaka seeks the power to place herself outside this cycle. She would root herself and grow to the detriment of others. The usher silently gestures to the road where a broken tree and a husk of flesh are still visible. I think I understand what you're telling me. The usher gestures to the road and the starry expanse beyond while the Pallid Knight speaks. I only show you the motion of the universe, Watcher. I must go to Sun and Shadow now.
No mortal can survive the descent into the pit. But there are souls on the burial isle that are pledged to me. I will grant them to you, and they shall bear you down safely, as well as light the way beyond.
A multitude appears at the other end of the road, raising their voices and kicking up dust as they make their way toward you. Return them to the cycle, Watcher. Promise that you will, and I shall give you power befitting champion of death. The Pallid Knight raises a finger. Accept my favor, however, and I will demand this decision as your due. I collect from all mortals in time. I would hear what the other gods have to say first. Do not delay long, Watcher. What Theos seeks to do cannot be undone even by the turning of the wheel. The usher points behind you. When you turn, you find yourself again standing in Terebran. So all these gods here, I think it's interesting that so far we've talked to just Berath there, and then Galawain seems to be allied with Magrin and Abaddon. But all the gods so far seem to realize that theirs is just one idea in many. They think they're right, but they also seem to understand that I might not think they're right, and they're okay almost if I choose to go with somebody else. Yeah. So let's move on to Rymrgand's quest now. So that's the end of Berath, and we're moving on to Rymrgand's. Unfortunately, I think Rymrgand's quest is also going to end in a lot of bloodshed. We have to go to Noonfrost for that, which is the place where we were told not to move beyond the doors. We have to retrieve something from Noonfrost. And I think once we go beyond the doors, we're going to get attacked, and that means we're going to have to kill a bunch of people. Okay, I'm going to guess this one is Into the White Void. Yeah. Rymrgand showed me a vision of a gate, the frost-hewn breach, and the pale elves trying to open it. In the vision, the elves crumbled into snow, and I sealed the gate with an ice crystal that I still had when the waking dream ended. I need to locate the frost-hewn branch in Noonfrost. And then I need to use the shard from the vision to close it according to Rymrgand's wishes. So if that's in my inventory... Glowing ice shard. Rymrgand gave you this jagged ice crystal when you prayed to him at Terra Everon. It's supposed to control the frost-hewn breach in Noonfrost. The shard glows with cold blue light. It hasn't melted at all since you received it. Okay. I was thinking maybe I would try to sneak in here, but I don't... Oh, there is. Who's got the highest stealth? I think it's Sagani, but let's just say. Stealth 2, Stealth 7, Stealth 2, 7, 0, 7. So let's just have Berath do it then.
I'm here.
See if this works. Now also try to possibly find something that will up my stealth. Nope. Nope. Oh, I know what I can do. Here it is. Okay. Let's see if I am able to do this stealthily.
Not a sound. I suppose it can't be helped. Hope that helps. I suppose it can't be helped.
I should have brought someone in here who had a high mechanics, but oh well. Thick patches of fur cling to the tent leather. Despite the chill, the bedrolls feel warm inside.
Not sure how I feel about this.
Yeah, should have. Oh, let's bring Durance over.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places. I can do that. That's settled.
Ooh, a white crystal key. Intricate geometric patterns adorn this translucent white key. Its surface feels cold to the touch, and a slight pulse seems to emanate from its crystalline core. I wonder...
I'm here.
How much longer do I have? 27 seconds.
Certainly.
Triggered a trap, but that's okay.
How about that?
The Windwalker, a unique quarterstaff. Ismar was a wizard from the White Wends. Later in life, he developed an obsession with Rymrgand, convinced that if he could see the great aurochs with his own eyes, the mysteries of creation and destruction would become clear to him. He wandered the frozen continent for decades with little more than his quarterstaff, Windwalker, and his sealskin coat, chasing the rumors of Glamfellan tribes and the death-cold gales that swept the glaciers. A migrating tribe eventually came upon Windwalker, planting it in snow and pointing to the sky. There was no sign of Ismar, but the legend spread that he had found Rymrgand and now follows in the shadow of the mighty beast. And I guess this has since been returned to Noonfrost, to Rymrgand. Well, let's read this first. So we can send Pallegina on another quest. Since the end of the Saints' War, dear Woodens have gathered at Evandur Bridge to commemorate the sacrifice of the dozen who gave their lives to defeat Saint Widwin. It has become customary for priests of Mogren leading the processional to sing a dirge to end the ceremony. This year, when the priest attempted to sing the dirge, his tongue swelled in his throat and he died painfully before the assembled crowd. When another priest attempted to sing the dirge a month later, he suffered the same fate. Some believe the gods are to blame for the priest's death. Others suspect vengeful Raed Sarens. Whoever is to blame, the priesthood of Mogren and the soldiers of Godhammer Citadel want them brought to justice. Okay, so let's send Pallegina out on that one. Let's see what just updated. Finally, I found the frost-hewn branch. Placing the shard in the frozen doorway will close it. So that must be this one right here. How long does that quest reward I got make me invisible? Or like the chimes of something. Where'd that go? Did I equip them on somebody? No. Did I not pick it up? Is it still in Cadnua? Okay, everybody. Off camera, I'm going to take a little trip to Cadnua. My dog is still on its side for some reason. Okay. I'm going to, off camera, go to Cadnua, and then I'll return here. I'll see if those chimes are in Cadnua. So I said I was going to go here off camera, but as I was coming here, I got a note that this person, Azuro, wanted an audience. So I can't even do like small things in this game without getting sidetracked. Ah, the chimes are here. Nice. Okay. So at least I found the chimes. And now let's go talk to this person. Good tidings, Lord. I am Azuro, famed merchant, purveyor of many valuable and, dare I say, rare objects. And so I would like to remain. I have an urgent matter to discuss with you, something you want resolved as quickly as I'm certain. Very well, let's hear it. You call your allies together and motion for the petitioner to step forward. It's these bandits, my lord. The roads are absolutely crawling with them, and they have the local merchants in a fright. I'm having trouble filling my stock. My suppliers say the risk is too great. Nobody wants to hear that the fineries sent out for delivery have been stolen by unwashed brigands. If I have no goods to sell, I cannot make a living, nor can I offer you the many special items normally at my disposal. I'll put an end to this. Yes, my lord? What is it that you have planned? My name has worth in these parts. I'll personally ensure the delivery and cover all losses that occur. That should allay any fears. Quite! A more generous offer these suppliers have never heard, I'll warrant. Thank you. I'll have more goods to offer you in short order, I'm sure of it. I thought when I said I was going to help, I was going to get a quest to go kill a bunch of bandits or something. Okay, going off camera again to return to Noonfrost, and then I'll be back, this time with the chimes. Whether they help or not.
Laying low.
So, it has become clear to me that there is no way to sneak back here and do this. I immediately get caught by the people at the Frosthewn branch, which is right over here. There's nothing I can do. I could still be in stealth mode and this guy will come down and talk to me, so it's not possible to stealth my way in here. Which is kind of unfortunate. But it is what it is, and we will have to fight our way through. So that was a long detour for me that amounted to nothing, although you'll probably just see this part here. So let's go.
All right, then.
Brave.
sorceress over here. These guys are formidable.
Beyond sea.
Can't get a good shot with this.
I have them.
Trying to save Berath. Can't believe Berath didn't die there.
All right then.
That's not very helpful.
All right then.
Can't get a good shot with this.
That's not very helpful.
Don't even lower it down. I can do that. That's settled.
Alwa. The young Orlin scrambles on the stone floor, pressing her back against the wall and baring her teeth at you. Her fur is patchy and matted. As you step into the room, she squints and turns her large ears toward you. A heavy sigh escapes her tiny body. Beast, take me. My eyes mistook you for one of them. Please, get me out of here. Tell me about the people that captured you. She snarls, her pointed teeth flashing. A clan of pale elves from the white that wends, devotees of Rymrgand, or so they claim. Their accents suggest other intent. Okay. They've come ready to fight. Wizards, priests, and paladins. A wizard named Glassfall leads them, a man obsessed with the frost-hewn breach. My ears hear him through the wall, casting spells and calling upon strange powers. I don't know what he wants with it, but no good can come of it. Can you tell me anything about the frost-hewn breach? She shakes her head. Not really. Something to do with Rymrgand, the beast of winter. I follow Galawain myself. What happened to you? When Noonfrost began freezing the lake, my sister Lara sent me to seek out the cause. She scowls at the dingy room. The pale elf Esther Morin seized me before I could report back. These pale elves are behind it. They showed up in Twin Elms not long ago, saying they wanted to see to the upkeep of Noonfrost. I don't know how, but they opened the frost-hewn breach at the back of the temple. Sucks warmth and life straight into their frozen god's barren domain, she shivers. They've got to be stopped. It's only a matter of time before the cold spreads further. It isn't safe yet. Wait until I clear the path. Please hurry. Okay, so maybe these pale elves deserve to die. Seems like they're letting in dead people. The enigmatic god of cold, read that. Water drips from the edges of the alcove.
A simple test.
Death, take you!
Don't even...
As one!
Brave.
Where's Berath?
Braved out. Don't even pull it down.
Okay, good. Thought I wasn't going to be able to get in there.
Leave it to me! You're not.
Let's get this healer first. Okay, so once again, I have created a bloodbath in Twin Elms.
All right then.
These guys seem like they deserved it, though. The pages of this tome glisten under a thick layer of frost. They seem to have been up to something, and they at least captured that urn person. Urn person? Oh, I was just looking at an urn. Orlin person. Oh, this is where I was before I went and got the chimes.
Braved out.
Frost smudged with handprints cover these books. Winter's Woes Grimoire. I know I have all these grimoires that I haven't learned spells from, but oh well. Books. Adrang Hadret. I think we've read that one. Apparently not. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm not going to read it right now because we're in the middle of the God's Favors quests, but I will try to remember to read that in the next session. And the Enigmatic God of Cold, we've read that one. Okay, so this is the room, the Frost-Hewn Breach, so let's go see what we're doing here. As you near the platform, the temperature drops sharply. Something saps every last bit of warmth from the air, leaving the breath of your lungs cold as it escapes your lips. You see a doorway filled in with glowing ice. Silhouetted against it is an elven man, his arms outstretched.
What are you doing here? You're not... What have you done? This useless slaughter, Please, just let me finish what we came here to do.
Rymrgand sent me to close the frost-hewn breach. You're a man of compassion. Would you trap us here another 100 lifetimes? We can't continue like this. We have to find a way into the White Void. The White Void?
Rymrgand's domain. A place where all things are mingled like snowflakes in a blizzard. It's a vortex of such chaos that even the Beast of Winter himself could not calculate the trajectory of the infinite particles of essence there. As souls are broken down over successive reincarnations, they become part of the White Void. It is a place where all things find perfect unity and freedom.
So they're trying to get in, not trying to bring things out. But obviously they're not doing well, and they are sucking all this warm air and lives into this breach here.
The frost-hewn breach is a weak spot in the barrier between us and the White Void. Thin ice on a frozen lake. We've come from the White that wends to find it.
So tell me about you and your people. Oh, and you want to open the breach.
So that we can die. Permanently. We've lived more lifetimes than any mortal should. We've been faithful followers of Rymrgand since our earliest incarnations. He's the god of entropy. Why would he force us to be reborn again and again? But if anything could pass through the frost-hewn breach, it would enter directly into the White Void. This death is overdue for us. We just have to find a way through.
Tell me about you and your people.
We call ourselves Glamfellan. Most here know us as Pale Elves. We hail from the White that wends, a glacial continent at the southernmost edge of Eora.
They're nomads, hardy lot. Some of the tribes occasionally spend a season in southern Nasatak.
We received a watcher in our lands a season ago and paid her to tell us of the origins of our souls. We wanted to contemplate the essence that fills us and consider how Rymrgand might shatter and sow us once our days are spent. We were not prepared for what we learned.
So I asked this, I'm hoping that they would go beyond just what a pale elf is. Obviously, Berath is a pale elf, so I don't need to know that. But I did want to know a little bit about what brings them here, so I'm glad they're getting into that now. And apparently they saw something when a watcher came to them. I don't think the watcher was either. Oh, we were not prepared for what we learned, and I don't think the watcher was either. She explained that every one of us had been reborn whole in the clan over centuries. Generations spanning back to the first days our people set foot on the White that wends. We had all been cut off from the mercy of our God promises. That night, we began awakening, experiencing fragments of past lives, old hatreds, dead passions, tangled memories. It illuminated nothing but the realization that we're doomed to live 1,000 pointless lives, never closer to Rymrgand's salvation. Alas's lips are pressed together, thin and bloodless. A dark expression hangs in his eyes. So they don't like that their souls are being brought to the wheel and given new life? We want to die. We want Rymrgand to scatter our souls into the ether, that their million fragments might join the White Void. He looks at the hands and the single frostbitten finger. My magic hasn't found a way through the frost-hewn breach yet, but there must be one. You can't oppose the will of a god. He laughs, but his eyes do not. You think that because Rymrgand spoke to you in a dream, you can march in here and tell us about his will? Or that your elegant words will direct our faith? We followed him and suffered by him, for almost as long as this temple has stood. Now we seek the very end that he promises. Do not lecture me about my duties to my God. I don't think this is something Berath would say here, but I don't want to give him the glowing ice crystal because I feel like Rymrgand will be pissed and we won't be able to get his favor there. I don't know. Alright, I'll attack. Wasn't my favorite choice. I'm doing a lot of things in Twin Elms that I don't really like doing. Okay, so someone is dominating me. Is that the right one? Yes. So what is going on that these guys aren't fighting? Oh, they're confused. Okay. Time to bring in my summons.
Brave thou not, Hylea.
Once again, I have no idea if that was the right choice. But they captured that Orlin over there, and that just didn't sit right with me.
All right, then.
Alright, let's close it. A pedestal of black ice rises from the floor. Long, finger-like crystals, as hard and clear as diamonds, surround and pierce the altar. A hole has been gouged out in the middle of the altar. Though it can't be more than a few inches deep, it sucks at the air around you. Plug the hole with Rymrgand's shard. The shard fits perfectly. As it settles into place, the cold around the altar dissipates. Similarly, the portal before you seems to thicken, and the mysterious seepage tapers off. Okay, so I've gained reputation with Twin Elms and the Fangs, so maybe that was the right choice? I have no idea. I'm a hero in Twin Elms, and I'm an ally to the Fangs. Make a run for it. Go. She turns toward the hall, her large ears angled forward. As fast as my feet can carry me, she scrambles for the exit on emaciated arms and legs. At the door, she glances back at you. Thank you, Estremar, and be careful. She melts into the shadows. There she is. The Orlin stands under the open sky, taking deep breaths of fresh air. Feels like I've been reborn. She thumps you on the shoulder. Come by the maw sometime. The rest of the Fangs will want to meet the cunning Estremar who freed me. I don't know about cunning. So we're gonna go and let Rymrgand know that we did what he asked of us. I know I need the favor of gods, but it really seems like they don't seem to care about Kith lives. Like, am I just playing games for them, or am I actually doing something that is helping? Alright, here's Rymrgand. Once more you approach the shrine in the constellation of the Beast of Winter. This time, the cold emanating from the shrine is unmistakable. A thin frost has formed upon the edges of the stone. Pray to Rymrgand. You pray again, and the vision of the white plain emerges. The driving wind returns in a chaos of whirling snow. Something moves at the center of the blizzard, plodding but relentless. As the snowstorm gets closer, you see an aurochs as colossal and slow as a glacier. Its shaggy white hair is matted with frost, but beneath it, ribs like a ship's frame protrude. Visible puffs of air issue from Sagani's gaping mouth. It's the Beast of Winter. A man, Sagani, a man, emaciated and almost naked, huddles at the beast's legs. His body is scored with lash marks, and his nose and ears have been carved from his face. His black eyes pierce the whiteout. Aloth leans forward. By the wheel, it's Sagani. The aurochs stops and stands before you, enveloping you in the violent blizzard that surrounds it. Though its mouth does not move, the beast speaks in a deep, thunderous voice.
A clan of Glamfelin ventured from the Whitefat Wens to find the crack in the ice. When you sealed it, you damned their souls to a slow weathering here, one they had sought to escape.
Their recklessness endangered the rest of Old Song.
For each there is a season watcher. Winter's shroud covers all things in its time. The heat and energy of life dissipates, and untethered essence fades into chaos. But entropy is a chisel of ice and a hammer of wind. It is not for mortals to wield these tools.
But entropy is a chisel of ice and a hammer of wind. It is not for mortals to wield these tools. Sagani laughing there. Andra. The world shudders beneath you, and a great crack echoes across the white expanse. The ice splits at your feet, waves lapping through the rift.
The Watcher seeks something long lost. What is it you search for?
The thousands of souls that Theos has stolen for Woodica.
Theos has removed these souls from the cycle. They are ice melting in the sun. Let them fade.
Let them forget this world and be forgotten by it.
Take the souls she so desires and grind them into dust. Let her see her careful schemes thoroughly ruined.
That last one sounded a little nastier than the other two. For several seconds, the waves wash quietly against the ice, and the aurochs stands silently amidst the churning flurries.
It is the destiny of all things to crumble and join the chaos that follows this world. Some seek it willingly, as you have seen.
To mingle, roiled and stirred by the tides of the universe. It is not an unkind fate.
You would give these souls the very fate you sought to deny the Glamfelin pilgrims.
I am the Beast of Winter. I neither speed nor alter my path for the whims and desires of Kith. I take souls at the time of my choosing, be it mote by mote or in a sudden tempest of chaos.
These souls, they have already forgotten their place in this world. They have been lost to existence. Let them be memorialized and mourned for an age, and then forgotten entirely.
Why do you oppose Wurka?
She desires to order chaos and shackle the agents of change in the world. Under her, all things would remain static and frozen according to her laws.
Even now, she only barely keeps the Pact of the Gods to leave the affairs of Kith in mortal hands. She moves in Theos where she cannot move directly.
So like I noticed with Berath, when Berath said once gods start meddling with mortal affairs, once a god starts meddling in mortal affairs, then other gods will follow. And it seems like Andra's noticing that she's barely keeping, that Wutika's barely keeping the pact.
And so we call on you to do the same. Such are the schemes of the Queen that was.
I'll seek Theos in Sun and Shadow.
When you reach the Burial Isle, we will send lost souls to guide you through the pit. This is our gift to you. What you do after you face Theos will be your choice, but we would have you set the stolen essence adrift.
And whether you would heed us or no, understand that our end comes to all things eventually. Help us achieve it, and we shall reward you now with a power to rival Theos's.
But do not choose lightly. We forget nothing, least of all a betrayal.
I would hear what the other gods have to say first.
Do not wait forever. We wait, but Theos does not.
Rymrgand continues toward you, swallowing you in a blinding, deafening snowstorm. You experience a dizzying, exhilarating disorientation, oblivious to the landscape around you, and even the reality of your own body. You hear a noise that could be the shrieking winds or Skane's screeching cackle, and then it recedes with everything else. Rymrgand disappears in the distance, trudging away from you, and the whiteout follows him. As the vision of snow fades, it leaves in its wake the flagstones of Ter Evron. Okay, so Rymrgand wants us to send the souls back to Entropy. Berath wants to return the souls to the wheel, and I forget what Galawain wanted us to do. I think destroy the souls, but that sounds a lot like the Entropy thing. Let's see if I can find this. Certain of Death. Like, I remember Galawain saying that he thinks that the souls should be destroyed or something, and Rymrgand wants them returned to Entropy. I don't understand what the difference between those two is. Also, interestingly, actually, maybe I'll wait to see that until we get back to episodes proper, because we still have one more task to do for Favor of the Gods. We need to do Hylea's task. Means we have to deal with a dragon. Wonder if we're gonna have to fight it, or if we'll be able to do it peacefully. The way things have been going, I doubt it. Right now I'm just returning to the Celestial Sapling to rest. And then we'll head over to, I forget what it was in the north there.
Greetings.
think I opened the path to find out what the name of that place is in a second. Northweald. Oh no, I need to go to the Temple of Hylea. Okay, here we are. Let's see about this dragon. Don't really know where to go. Maybe I had to go up this way. Ah, yes, okay. Is Hylea's symbol there? And there's our dragon.
And now the fun begins.
As you reach the summit of the mountain, a gust of wind stirs the air. You hear a noise like the snapping of sails, and the sky is briefly blotted out. A dragon lands before you, shaking the ground beneath your feet. It draws itself up to its full height and spreads its wings, barring your passage. Its neck, its back, and the ridge of its spine are covered with magnificent plumage. It hisses at you, and while the sound is unlike any language you've heard before, the beast's meaning is utterly clear. With drakes, I remember it saying that their scales take on the characteristics of the place they live. And this one is blue and shiny. It seems like some kind of cold place, but it's up on top of a mountain, so it just came here recently, so I wonder if maybe it was in like White March or something like that.
Vermin invading my nest, threatening my hatchling. You shall feed my young.
A small worm crouches in the corner of the temple behind the dragon. You have young here.
I will protect my last hatchling to the death, and that death will be yours, rodent.
Hylea is the goddess of motherhood, actually.
And of the sky and all winged creatures. Even my kind know of her.
Is that why you came here?
I came to care for my remaining hatchling. My kind requires territory. Few places are safe for our young. This is a lesson that cost me the rest of my brood.
You and your offspring will kill many if you stay. You have to leave. Heat from the beast's roar sears your face. It lashes in a flurry of scale and feathers. I wonder if Hylea would have been happy if we let this dragon live. What's this over here? A rain blight. Okay. We have some blights here, but that's it. Oh, and a wormling. Keeps stunning us. Oh, and Dare is pretty hardy, huh? Attempt 9.
All right, then.
And now the fun begins.
I don't know why it says press enter to input command.
Vermin invade.
Kind of annoying. Okay. There it goes. Like...
That's not very helpful.
Doesn't stay stunned very long, does he?
Just
I guess I can only have one set of summons out with Kana at a time. Oh, this might be the one.
Following your
Did it. That was 9 attempts, I think. But I did it. Okay, so we got Sky Dragon Eye. Sky dragons are said to have almost supernatural vision, able to pick out the tiniest prey from far above the ground. Though clouded now with death, the iris of this massive eye retains its vibrant green-gold sheen. Everything else... I got dragon meat. Have I had that before? Dragon meat is considered a rare and exotic treat for the fairly obvious reason that it is not very easy to obtain. Many tales and rites of passage have formed up around the idea of consuming the raw flesh of these beasts.
Course.
The edges of the bones are brittle and blackened. Unique Warhammer, Godan's Thunir. Forged by the Master Smith of the Knights of the Crucible, Godan's Thunir, God's Thunder, saw greatest use during the War of Defiance. Dedicated to Abaddon and inscribed with its holy symbol, the hammer held devastating power and could leave foes senseless in a single blow. In the thick of the battle, warriors would often claim to hear thunderous explosions and witness blinding flashes of light. Many believe the gods themselves disapproved of the fighting and were voicing their displeasure. Sounds like a take on Mjolnir. Some gems. Pensiavi Mesere, +3 might. The story goes that this ring belonged to the Seeker of Balance, a cipher assassin of the Order of the Black Stone. He was captured in an attempt to kill a duchess in Old Valia, and while awaiting execution, he channeled his soul into the ring. The ring was then taken by one of the guards who, upon wearing it, was possessed by the Seeker. Through the guard, he completed the assassination of the duchess. Over the years, the ring lost its power to possess, but remained a formidable item. The tarnished old ring isn't much to look at. By night, however, the mark of the Order of the Black Stone glows from the band. Who should I give that to? Maybe Sagani. Oh, no, she's got... Not Sagani. Oh, definitely Adair. He doesn't have any rings on. Okay.
I shall be quiet as a calm sea.
Let's see if maybe there's some,
which
like,
is not very
hidden stashes anywhere. Doesn't look like it. Okay, I'll read the Bestiary NT4 Dragon when we are back to the regular Lorethrough, since this is still the God's Favor. This is the last God's Favor, but it is the God's Favor. So let's go first to Old Song, talk to those people, and then we'll go to Elm's Reach to go to Ter Evran. Just pay him off. Forget what Azura was doing. The shrine is over here. I didn't even realize that we can go in there last time.
We saw you go up the mountain. Well, what happened?
She means to say that we're both very relieved to see you're safe.
Yes, of course, that too.
The dragon and its young are both dead.
Praise the Sky Mother, and thanks to you too. I told you that an attack was the way to go.
And the Queen of Birds saw fit to bless us with a capable warrior. It is a shame that such a rare champion of the skies had to perish. All winged life is sacred to our goddess. Still, it is better that we can return to worship at the nest. Thank you. Not to presume too much, but you might pray to Hylea when you visit Ter Evran. She is grateful to all who aid her.
Okay, 7,000 copper for that. Not that we need money anymore. Alright, I was going to quit and try and get rid of this, whatever this glitch is in the corner here, but I'll wait to do Hylea's quest and then I'll quit after that and restart the game. Because I don't know what will happen to the recording if I quit out while it's paused. Okay. You stand once more before the shrine of Hylea. The stars of her constellation seem to glitter all the brighter. Pray. You kneel. While you pray, you feel the space around your body shift and melt, and you find yourself in a vision of the mountaintop temple. You see neither worshippers nor dragon, but a tree. Its limbs wrap around the perimeter of the temple, tapering its wings and branches of all shapes and sizes. They seem too long and too numerous to be held up by the meager trunk, but they hold steady in the breeze. A single sparrow lands on the nearest branch. It watches you. Whistle to the bird. Hylea, I think, often represents herself as a bird, so that might actually be Hylea. You whistle the first tune that pops into your head. The sparrow blinks its beady eyes and hops closer to you along the branch. It bobs its tiny head and opens its beak, and the rich, trilling melody that spills forth is the song of a chorus of birds. A massive flock descends with a thundering of wings and whooping, screeching, chirping calls. They fill the boughs of the tree by the thousands, birds of every shape, size, and color, nestling next to one another. Kana gazes up in astonishment. Birds from every corner of the world. Look, I see some Rauatai razorbills. A breeze ripples through the air. The limbs sway, creaking with a strange, gentle rhythm. A few hundred of the birds flit from their branches, forming a brilliantly variegated flock in front of the tree. As they meet and swoop in unison, you catch a glimpse of someone looking back at you, cloaked by the flurry of feathers. Look there, the mantle of feathers. We are in the court of birds, and there stands the Sky Mother.
You journeyed to my temple and rid it of the dragon. Now my faithful may return, singing their joy to the skies and praising me through their creation.
Life is creation and celebration. I'm glad to have served you in this. The breeze blows through the tree. A dove tucks its head into its feathers and watches you.
Glad because you seek to protect life, or because you seek a patron. And yet you have proven yourself with this task. I would tell you of another.
I already know that Theos Arcanen has gone to Sun and Shadow to strengthen Woodica with thousands of souls. The birds return to the tree and nestle among their peers. The breeze ripples through the branches again, carrying the goddess's voice.
Then you have earned the favor of another. But stopping Theos will not heal the deer wood.
You must guide the trapped souls back to the bodies they were stolen from. Hollow-born children whose eyes have never seen the sun.
You could restore them, give their families hymns of joy after years of lament. The breeze tickles your ears. Peace and restoration give perfect purpose to suffering. There is no meaning, no redemption in pain that does not lead to fulfillment. Symmetry demands that great rejoicing follow suffering such as this. I'm not sure that it's possible to truly undo the harm Theos has caused. Sagani flinches. Surely those wounds can heal, or don't you think the long abscesses could be overcome? You hear the cry of a swift, soft, and plaintive. Perhaps the years cannot be forgotten, and for some, perhaps it is already too late. But if you could restore even one soul, kindle one spark of life, raise one voice in joy, it would be worth it. There's another side to this. Aleth's tone is cautious. You've seen the consequences of a soul just disjointed from its own cycle. Could these children ever truly return? Perhaps it would be better to allow these souls to find new lives? How can they continue to another when they have not fully lived this life? To pass them along to another now is cutting a stanza from a poem, a verse from a song. Thank you, Hylea. I will continue to Sun and Shadow.
When you reach the Burial Isle, you will find souls there that I have granted reprieve for their sins. I give these to you, for only they can bear you to safety on your journey down. And when you face Theos and the rotting fruits of his endeavors, remember the conversation we have had. In that moment, you will have power rivaling a god's. And after it, you will live in the world that you have chosen. Choose Restoration, Watcher. Return the souls to the bodies they were stolen from. Swear to me that you will do this, and I shall give you power to make even Woodica quake. I can be merciful and terrible, Watcher.
Great wings, dark against the sun, unfold behind the tree, casting a blinding shadow across the temple for the briefest of moments. I would hear what the other gods have to say first. Hear, then, and choose. All of the birds spread their wings and take flight. As they flock and swarm around you, you gain a glimpse. You again glimpse someone watching you from within the maelstrom of feathers. Her glance is full of compassion and hope. The birds rise toward you. They blot it out, reminding you for an instant of a dragon and a shadow. But when your vision clears again, you are standing in Terevran. Okay, so now we have our choice to make. But that is I'm going to save for the next session of the Lorethrough proper. So this is the end of the God's Favor session. We have gone through and done all these God's Favors here. Let's see. Over here, Galawain actually joined with Abaddon and Magran for his favor. Rymrgand joined with Skane and Andra for his favor. Berath and Hylea remained alone, but actually I'm thinking about either one of theirs. But I'll go over the choices and everything at the beginning of next session. Actually, you know what? Maybe I won't go over everything. Maybe I'll just explain my decision at the beginning of the next one. So here is the 4 choices as I understand them for each of the 4 God's favors that we did. If we go to Galawain and do what he asks of us, he wants us to return the souls as essence. So we would destroy the souls and return them as essence to the Deerwood. Rymrgand wants us to return the souls to entropy, to completely destroy the souls so we can start over anew. Berath wants us to return the souls to the wheel so that they get returned to new lives that are born. And Hylea wants us to return the souls to the actual Hollowborn children. So any Hollowborn children that have been born will no longer be Hollowborn. And I will be choosing one of these two down here. I don't want to destroy the souls. I don't want to turn them into essence. But I think one of these two choices, Berath or Hylea's choices, is the best choice. But I will figure out what I'm going to do, and I will explain my decision at the beginning of the next session. So thank you for joining me. This is a long session because we went through all of the gods' favors. But again, you may or may not have watched everything. I hope you enjoyed watching all of this. I hope that these were kind of interesting. It's nice to learn a little bit about the gods, who's allied with who, and that kind of thing here. And then we will make our decision at the beginning of next session. So thank you, as always, for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, likes, those kinds of things. Love to hear from you, and hope to see you next time in, I believe, session 49. See you then, and goodbye. What the f even just happened?